Good afternoon. That's right, I said good afternoon. This is Brian Kuzmar. Yeah, I know I'm on vacation from Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals and Concierge Bullion Services. I just can't help myself making these videos. I said, oh man, I'm going to take a week off and not do anything, and I guess this is really not doing anything. But that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of not doing anything, as you can tell from my hand and my typical morning black coffee that I drink. And what a beautiful place this is where I'm staying right now. Right along the Santa Fe, is it Santa Fe? Yeah, Santa Fe River. I guess I should know that. And having my coffee this morning, just took this photo just a short bit ago. Gonna sit down in the chair here and enjoy myself, folks. And here we go. Quote for the day: fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. Zig Ziglar, probably one of the greatest old-time motivational speakers of all time, but he's absolutely right. Fear has two meanings. F-E-A-R. I like how he matches it up. Forget everything and run, which that's a preservational thing. That's an instinct that humans and most animals have. Is in fear, run the other way. Or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. But what Zig Ziglar doesn't talk about here is, what is it that you fear? What is it that can it hurt you, or is the fear itself justified? And where am I going with this? I'll tell you in a second, a couple different places here, because interestingly enough, just as I was sitting down, look what was behind my chair. Now, I'm not arachnophobic. Is that correct term to use? I'm not Iraq. I'm not arachnophobic, or whatever you call it. Not afraid of spiders. God damn, this sucker was big, man. It's about as big as the, what is it, 8 inches or something like that. Anyways, the first instinct was to run. But I had to leave my coffee, or I spilled my coffee. No, I know I couldn't do that, so I had to logically think my way out of this, and I just stepped back and took a picture for you folks. And actually, if you see right here, you can see the spider right there, right before I was about to sit down and do this video here. And there's my chair I'm going to sit in, and then I sat down, I set my coffee down, I got back up, I walked here, and whoa. But again, I faced my fear. I'm not really afraid of spiders. But this brings up a very good point, folks, about fear. Let me first kind of take a look at markets, see where they're at. They're absolutely got trashed today. Let me do a quick refresh here. Spots are courtesy of CCE, one of the best dealer websites out there, dealers only pretty much. And I like it because it's kind of a static page as well. Man, monkey hammer, the price of gold down, silver, and platinum's kind of sitting where it's been at its low. Palladium, who cares? So little people buy it that I don't pay much attention to it. The low of 1722, we're off that low a little bit at 1725, high of 1741. And of course, we saw it kind of rise up the other day. And silver, 1840. So here's the real criminal. The criminality comes in the silver prices, because, folks, it has nothing to do with people selling silver. Supply and demand, which is how markets should operate when they're working on fundamentals, real fundamentals, not crooked nonsense like you got in the COMEX markets and the LBMA markets and the LME markets and other commodity markets where the criminals subside or live and do their daily dastardly deeds. But 1842 and a low of 1838, I think we just bounced off that low here. I was watching it. And, your first instinct, no matter what it is, especially if you got money tied up in silver, all right? This is why I brought up the fear thing, folks. Especially for you new folks. I've been doing this a long time. This isn't my first rodeo. This is my first dance. This isn't my first time seeing these kind of monkey-hammered markets. I've seen this movie before many times over, actually. I've been doing this since 1977. Started working with my father back then. Didn't understand why it was happening, thanks to smart people out there like Ted Butler, and some of the other YouTube talking heads. I've learned a lot since then. I learned not to worry. I learned that fear is my biggest enemy, not the spider. Fear, all right? Spider, nothing to fear from the spider, especially since, all right, correct me if I'm wrong, any of you folks that know spiders, but he's kind of harmless. I think he might be able to put a biting on you, but as far as that, I don't think there's any pain there. What you fear the most is fear itself, and that's what you're looking at with silver right now. 1842, 1838. If you're a new investor and you're new to silver and you're not familiar with how these markets are monkey-hammered, of course, you're going to be frightened out of your mind. You could probably get unload. You're going to think, oh my gosh, where's the bottom here, 16 or 15 or whatever it may be. Well, folks, that's a unneeded fear. for a couple of reasons. First off, again, highly manipulated market, has nothing to do with supply and demand. There is no investors out there selling silver. None. Zero. Zero, zip. All right, let's not say zero. That would be incorrect scientifically. Let's say there is an infinitesimally, very, very small, a very, very small group of people might be, or entities might be selling silver out there. Real silver, physical silver, not paper goods. What we really got going on is we got the criminal markets, the criminal COMEX markets, commodities markets. That's where the price discovery, where this price right here is determined, and that low is determined. It's, it's not you and I buying silver. It's not, buying silver from the big guys. It's not buying silver from other people. What your price discovery is made in the criminal COMEX markets, and we know this. It's been for decades. But where was I going with this? Because it's something we just talk about all the time, these criminals. But again, don't be afraid that silver is going to become worthless. It's going to go to nothing. They're pulling out all the stops. I'm sorry, all the stops to pull silver down to the sub $20 level. They're doing it's so in our faces. It's not even funny. And the other thing is, you can't buy real silver for these prices. Maybe if you went and you had enough, you could order 1 million ounces from SLV, which is something that might have just happened, not 1 million ounces, but Ted Butler believes that there's someone taking delivery on SLV, so they don't drive the physical prices up by taking delivery in the COMEX markets. Also, we're at an all-time low. We're at an all-time low in the COMEX shorts. Not an all-time low, but pretty much low since before 2020 in the COMEX short department, where the monkey hammering and the manipulative behaviors typically occur with the large commercial shorts washing out the managed money longs. But it hasn't happened. You know where it's happened? It's happened in SLV. Someone is taking large delivery of silver in SLV, and someone's shorting SLV in a big way. This is probably the reason we're seeing these sub $20 silver, sub $19, especially sub $19 silver. They're trying to wash it down the drain. And again, don't expect any justice from the government. Don't expect any justice from the CFTC. Don't expect any you're not going to get it, folks. These markets and our government, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, I got no issue with our Constitution. I got no issue with the government, how it's designed and everything. What I got issue with is the fucking clowns and the morons that are running it. Okay, I said it. It's and that's the issue that I have. But again, I digress. Nothing to fear here, folks, with these lower silver prices. This is purely a paper play. And gosh, I wish I could go in and buy at this level right now. But the problem is there's no silver to buy. I think you saw my title here is Buy Silver Now. If you can. And what if you can means if you can find it, because the premiums are across the board all way up. We're going to take a look at 1,000-ounce bars if I remember as well. But meanwhile, it's not just silver getting hammered today, but I can't speak for the Dow Jones, SP, NASDAQ, and other markets being manipulated. I think they are. They talked about high-frequency markets, high-frequency trading for a long time, but no one's really gone to jail. However, gold and silver, particularly silver markets, are so frickin' crooked, it's not even funny. And again, where's the crookedness happen? It happens in the CME Group-owned COMEX markets and their Globex markets, their NYMEX and Globex markets, where they allow these big commercial positions just to hammer these paper prices down. It's not real silver, folks. It's paper bullshit. And that's what you got with silver right now, where it's at. But it looks like markets across the board are hemorrhaging, including I won't say including gold. It's not too bad, actually, 0.68% down. When you consider how much over the last several months, or since the beginning of the year, how much the Dow Jones, SP, NASDAQ has really been knocked down compared to gold, substantially more. Gold's holding its own pretty well, even though I do believe there's a lot of monkey hammering going on in gold. But the criminals at the CME Group and the COMEX criminals, short positions, the commercial shorts, they don't have quite their hands around the throat of gold like they do with silver. Silver is where the real criminality occurs in these markets. And you can see that too, because there is a lot of gold still available right now, folks. Premiums are still quite reasonable gold. Silver is the real play if you can find any of it real silver, not their paper bullshit. So my thing is, do not fear, folks. Do not fear. You know why you don't want to fear this silver market, manipulated silver market? Because it'll end. And I'm going to read something to you that Ted Butler says. I hope he doesn't mind. I'm going to read a little blurb from this article that should relieve you guys. But I'm going to give you some other relief, too, why you should be happy owning gold, silver, and platinum. Because it's outlived all the fiat currencies. The U.S. dollar is the longest surviving fiat turd in history. And you know, when they talk about dollar strength, I've talked about this 100 times, it's not the dollar buys more. We're going to get into that in a second. It just means the dollar is stronger against all the other fiat turds, okay? You're not buying more with that dollar, period. That's the misconception that most Americans have and people across the world have. But why do not fear? I'll tell you why. There's a couple of reasons you don't have to fear. Is because I think I kind of put it right here, which is, of course, the game is rigged. Don't let that stop you. If you don't play, you can't win. And exactly what we got going on here is who's running the show, all right? And there's a lot to be fearful of these people, particularly these kind of people, and particularly the J.P. Morgans out there and the CME groups. You know, they're crooked, folks. They're just crooked, bad people. They're not really, they're self-interest. You know, in their minds, they're not doing anything wrong. In their minds, the minds of these people, the minds of the people in the CME group, the minds, they're not doing anything wrong. But some of them, maybe some of them don't believe they're doing anything, and they're probably in denial. But the reason you don't have anything to fear, because what these people can do is only temporary. And you know the game is rigged, and you know how they play. You know how these people play the game. You know how the CME group, let's put up the CME group here. You know how the CME group plays the game, and I'm just pointing out the criminals out there. CME group, there you go. You know how they rigged the game. And of course, you know, for any of you card players out there, for any people that bet out there, if you know that a particular game you're betting on is rigged, okay, doesn't that give you a huge advantage even over the people that are rigging the game? Correct me if I'm wrong, make something in the comment section. But again, of course the game is rigged, but if you don't play, you can't win. And if you know how the game is rigged, you become a far superior player, even to the riggers themselves, like the CME group, who in my opinion, and the people that are much smarter than me's opinions, is the biggest crooks out there. These people, right, well, picture the CME group, COMEX market as a casino. And that's what the CME group here owns, that casino. They own the COMEX, all right? And the COMEX is a casino. NYMEX, Globex, the LBMA markets, which is the London markets, they're the casinos where these players, these big commercial short positions come in and they monkey hammer and spoof these markets down. The CME group owns the casino, but they allow it to happen. That's why they're just as big as scumbags, in my opinion, and in the opinion of people smarter than me, scumbags and thieves, as the crooked players themselves, okay? So again, we know how the game is rigged. We know how their stupid little game is rigged. A small percentage of us do. Maybe 98% of the public doesn't know this. Remember, you silver and gold owners out there and platinum owners, you physical owners represent a very small part of the public. I mean, a growing number of you. I mean, a huge growing, especially in the silver guys, silver stackers. But we are still a small percentage of people out there. And even smaller is the percentage of people that understand how these markets are rigged. I'm telling you right now, if you've been listening to my videos and you've been following the price of gold and silver, and you've been following the Ted Butlers out there and the other folks that have talked about how these markets are rigged and manipulated, like gata.org, you are smarter. I'm not lying about this, all right? I'm not lying. I'm not joking or pulling your leg. You are smarter than a vast majority of the public out there, especially when it comes to silver and gold markets. Again, you are the player at the table that understands how the cheaters are cheating. Most of the players at the table, and people that aren't even playing, they're just watching the game from a distance, haven't a freaking clue. So you got a big distinct advantage. You are smarter than the talking heads on Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal. Well, it's not hard to beat those talking heads, corporate talking heads, but you are smarter than them. You're smarter than the people that make these large trades, these big commercial silver and managed money longs that make these trades. You're smarter than them because obviously, well, not the commercial shorts, but you're smarter than the big money managed longs that keep getting hoodwinked by these commercial shorts year after year, decade after decade. You're smarter than them because they're just dealing off algos and 50-day moving averages. They don't take a step back and look, oh, maybe we're getting cheated. If they did, they'd probably beat the pants off the big commercial players once they knew that, but they don't. Folks, you're smarter than people that are handling millions of dollars when it comes to billions of dollars when it comes to how the silver markets are manipulated. Take a look at this again, Dow Jones. I'm going to do a quick refresh here, but yeah, across the board, not looking good across the markets here. One other thing is that the price of gold, I think it might be backing off because of the stock market's taking shit and all that other stuff. But the price of silver has nothing to do with inflation. The price of silver has nothing to do with capitulation of large silver holders that are selling their silver. Nothing to do with that. It is purely criminal, collusive, manipulated behavior, folks, all right? So don't even pay attention to... I was going to say that the reason that... gold is down, but not silver. The reason I think gold might be backed off a little bit, besides it is manipulated as well. But on top of that, I think that when 2008, when I saw the market collapse in an overnight fashion, the price of gold and silver went way down too. You couldn't buy any gold, you couldn't buy any silver without paying huge premiums. While I haven't seen a big collapse in the price of gold, I think gold is holding its own very well. We have seen the collapse in the price of silver, more so. And again, just it's purely criminal and collusive. And what does this do? It provides you a great opportunity to buy the dips, folks. Just keep buying the dips. Do not fear these lower silver prices. I'm going to get into Ted Butler's article. And there's another reason you don't have to fear. Not just because you've got the morons running the show, as I said. There, hold on, there's your morons right there. Morons and clowns running the show. Again, you know, if you apply what I just told you about knowing how COMEX and the big commercials cheat the silver markets, it's the same thing with politics, folks. Just kind of paint that over. You know how these folks are cheating. And, you know, you can see desperation when they start doing it so much it's in your face. That's exactly what you see with these clowns and crooks right here. And the same thing with the COMEX markets and the big commercial shorts. They're desperate at this, folks. It's when it's so in your faces, they don't even care about hiding it anymore, as is the case with silver and politics. You know the end game is near for them. Here's another reason that I tell everyone that buys gold and silver and platinum not to fear, relax. You know, the dollar has been in a free fall since 1913. Slow motion. I mean, if you lived a long period of time, this would seem like a shorter period of time right here, but our lifespans are short, man. Take a look here. I mean, here, most of us were born in this area right here, baby boomers. Well, baby boomers were in this area right here, and then you've got your Gen X's and something right here. And most of us live, you know, there's your baby boomers. They're kind of dying off right now, unfortunately. So there's your time frame. And all the baby boomers have seen is, look, the depreciation of the buying power of the U.S. dollar. And folks, when people talk about dollar strength, I've said it enough times, I hope you got this. And whenever you hear someone says, but the dollar's stronger, I hope you remind them, yeah, against the other turds. It's the last horse to the glue factory. That's why the dollar is stronger, right? But for you baby boomers, you've seen nothing but a decline in the buying power of the dollar, and you've seen the price of gold go up, especially after we got off the gold standard. So gold and silver and platinum, it's about wealth preservation, folks. However, I believe that, you know, we're going to see some big uptrends in the price of gold and silver here, and not too far in the future. Meanwhile, you know how the game is rigged, okay? You know who the criminals and the crooks are. And again, you know why and how they do their criminality. And again, this makes you a much better player at the casino. It makes you a much better player at the marketplace. It makes you a much better player at the polling booth as well, in my opinion. Again, if you know how the game is rigged. Let me move along here to Ted Butler. Ted Butler is probably the best out there when it comes to silver and how the market. There's no one better than Ted Butler. I'm going to just say that when it comes to. All right, I know that was said with a lot of confidence because again I know these markets and I understand. I've been watching this for decades. I've never been able to quite explain it. As soon as Ted Butler started explaining this to me, I think a decade or more ago when I started reading Ted Butler stuff, decade plus, it all made sense. It all started making sense, and this is why I'm not in fear right now. When I see these down prices in silver and gold, I don't go into the fear mode. There is no capitulation on my part. I'm not buying. I'm not selling at these lower levels. Are you kidding me? In fact, I wish that I could go out and buy a ton of silver right now, but I'm going to get into that in a moment too. You're going to be quite surprised that there's not much available when it comes to silver. But let me read Ted Butler's thing. I think that he wouldn't mind me reading. This is proprietary. I mean, this is his paid newsletter. And he'd send me an email and told me to stop or shut up if he didn't like this. But I'm not going to read the whole thing in a lot of the details and stuff, but I'm going to get into basically something I think Mr. Butler would tell you himself. He would write publicly himself. Silver's relative underperformance resulted in the silver-gold ratio widening out to just over half point to 93.3 to 1. And again, you know, during these videos, I do the silver-to-gold ratio, and yep, that's where we're sitting. Following last week's 5-point widening blowout. Still, it was yet again the most undervalued silver has been relative to gold in 2 years, and considering all the facts as I believe now them to be, is perhaps the single biggest price aberration in the world today. Mr. Butler, I believe you nailed that right there. It's the most crooked frickin' market out of all the commodities markets out there, in my opinion. And I think he's, you know, again, I agree with that. While losses in gold and silver weren't particularly significant on their own this week, the price smash yesterday, remember this article is a couple days old, we got more price smashes. So the same thing that he mentions in his article here is continuing to happen, which is criminality in the comics markets. The price smash yesterday, along with the absolutely horrid price performance this year, has to be, and this is what I really wanted to read to you, and I think Mr. Butler would be happy to have this message get out to whoever is willing to put the message out there. And he's right. The price smash yesterday, along with absolutely hard price performance this year, has to be especially draining on investor spirits. Anyone that, I mean, even I get pissed off. And I don't get pissed off because I think, or upset, or worried, or fearful that gold is going to zero and silver is going to zero, because I know it's not. The dollar is more likely to go to zero. The stock market's more likely to go to zero than the gold and silver and platinum based on history and a track record. But I digress. If you are not particularly disheartened by the price performance this year, particularly in silver, then you have a stronger internal sentiment than me. But bad feelings aside, and Mr. Butler, who understands how the criminals rig these markets, and he can tell you, based on their data, I mean, it's factual, folks. This is not tinfoil hat bullshit. It's factual. Ted Butler points out how they do it. And even he gets disappointed. But I think the same way I get disappointed. Disappointed that I think it's going to wash out some new investors that come in or were thinking about coming in and are missing a great opportunity to buy these lows. And for some longer term folks that are wondering if the manipulation is going to go on forever. But again, that doesn't bother Ted Butler. It doesn't bother myself either. What bothers myself and probably Ted Butler is just the perception of the silver market by the newer investors and by some of the older investors that are wondering if it's ever going to end. That bothers us, and it bothers me, and I can't blame them. You know, we feel for you, man. But our fear is different. Our fear is not, in fact, there is no fear when it comes to gold, silver, and platinum owning it. My only fear is if I knew I only had a few days left on this earth or a short period of time, and I saw this kind of monkey hammering going down before I could go out and spend it all before I die. That would be my fear, okay? If every single important data point that matters, aside from the price itself, wasn't more bullish than ever before, there's no way I could or would continue to proclaim silver as the best asset bargain of all time. And what Ted Butler's saying here is that the data points that we are in a great time, folks, a time when you really should be stacking silver, but the problem we're having right now is availability of silver. You know, I'll get to that in a little bit. I'll show you why silver is hard to get right now. And in a world of logic, since when is a cheap price a reason not to hold a valuable asset? Absolutely true. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. Give me 1 second. At the root of the problem for me, why it's normal to feel downtrodden about silver is the length of time it has remained undervalued, and most importantly, the reason for the undervaluation. You would have to have been living in a cave not to know that silver's price has been artificially suppressed for decades. I agree with that, okay? If you've been following silver in videos like myself and Ted Butler, you'd have to live in a cave, all right? But a lot of newer folks aren't following this stuff. They don't understand the manipulation. This is why it's important for you to get this word out there too when you talk to other people about silver and understand that, of course, the market's rigged, but if you know how to play the game, you can win. The real problem, Ted says, therefore, is the unavoidable feeling that anything kept as depressed in price for as long as silver has been leads to the feeling, something we talk about all the time here in our videos, folks, leads to the feeling that artificial price manipulation can continue indefinitely. It's kind of ironic, if I'm reading the signs correctly, that while more observers than ever, certainly in the many hundreds of thousands, if not more, recognize the long-term manipulation of silver price, at the very same time, more than ever feel the manipulation won't end. In fact, because the allegations of a silver manipulation are so well documented and visible, the most frequent inquiry. All right, I'm going to kind of cut it right there because I'm getting down into some more information here, and I don't want to read Ted's whole newsletter. It wouldn't be fair to him. You pay for this, and I pay for this service as well. But I think that sharing this with you, he'd have no problem with that at all, because he feels for you too, folks. And again, he can see that same kind of feeling that even some of the old silver investors are starting to get at right now. But folks, they're getting desperate. It's never been more in your face. The data looks really positive for an explosion in the price of silver at some point, or an explosion in COMEX, one or the other. Actually, I hope there literally is an explosion in COMEX, takes all them crooked bastards out. That was just a joke. Satire, ha ha. All right, where am I going with this? What the best deals are and what the best deals are not. Folks, I'm going to talk about gold first because we're going to get that out of the way. There's no shortage of gold out there. The premiums on gold are still freaking great. That's because gold hasn't been as manipulated for decades like the price of silver has. Gold is kind of, again, we're in there 80 to 90 to 1. We're far above our gold to silver ratio, even the crooked silver ratio of the last 4 decades, which has been like in the 60 to 1. What we really should be with silver, realistically, with the price of gold, should be 30 to 1. Silver should be much higher. But gold, again, I said I was going to talk about gold. Best deals in gold are still gold bars. Here's my plug for my businesses. Ready? If you live in South Florida, I advertise to be APMEX, SD Bullion, and JM Bullion, and at our brick and mortar store, which is Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. I've been in that location since 1995. I've been doing this since 1977. My recently started business is Concierge Bullion Services for you folks that are out buying larger quantities, 2,500 ounces or more silver, or 100 ounces or more of gold. Call conciergebullion.com, or you can go to that site. And I'll get to that in the end. And I'll advertise to beat the big sellers, APMEX, SD, JM, also the Mile Franklins out there. Again, the companies that I feel are respectful and will deliver. I'll beat them on their prices, regardless of the amount that they want to sell you. And I'll also give you great advice on top of it. And I'm not afraid to mention those companies because I'm highly competitive. I know I can beat their prices. And again, I'm quoting companies that I have respect for, okay? But that's what you do in business. You try to beat the competition, or you try to be the competition. While I'll never probably be the competition, I sure can beat them. All right, the best deals in gold are bars. The best deals in gold are Krugerrands, Austrian Austrian Philharmonic. 100 Kronos are a great deal, actually. And all the gold across the board is still reasonably priced. Take advantage of these lower prices in gold. But as far as silver goes, man, wow. I just don't know what to tell you. All right, I'm going to give SD Bullion some love right here. I'm not telling you to go buy from them. I'm just saying out of the big 3 online elephants in the room, the big 800-pound gorillas online would be SD, JM, and APMEX. They're the biggest, like the Walmarts of online selling with gold, silver, and platinum. And again, as I said, I can beat their price. SD Bullion, I'm going to give them some love because they have seemed to have the best prices, especially when it comes to silver, for quite some time now. So I'm going to show their page here. Take a look at this, folks. If silver's 1846, 1838, all right, it would indicate that there's a huge amount of sellers that don't want to be in silver. They're selling their silver, whether it's retailer or investors in the retail investors in the smaller amounts, 1,000-ounce bars, 100-ounce bars. There should be a shit ton. At $18 silver would indicate to me there should be a shit ton of silver out there available. Tons of it. It should be priced at $1 under spot, given the fact that it's so low and so many people are supposedly selling millions of ounces. Silver should be $1 under spot. It's not. This is another proof in the pudding that this game is so fucking rigged it's not even funny, folks. And again, it's so in your face. Take a look at these premiums. That's their as low as price, $24.62. My God, $4.62, $5.62. Shit, $6 or $7 is the best deal SD has on silver right now. Again, I beat their prices here, but even my price has gone up. Delivery's gotten longer. Folks, this is the biggest effing sham in the silver market I have ever seen, and it makes me just smile realizing that they must just be in panic mode right now. The only reason they would drive prices down this low is they're in panic mode to fill positions that they can't fill. And what can't they fill? They can fill all the paper positions they want. They can't find the real physical stuff. This is the reason that we're seeing physical prices just right through the frickin' roof. Take a look at 100-ounce bars. 100-ounce pamp bar. $22.31, basically $22.31 an ounce with silver at 8, and it's really, that bar has $1,862 worth of silver, and they're getting 22. My God, folks, let's not even talk about silver eagles. They're just freaking crazy. Stay away from silver eagles and 90%. Listen, if I had to say what are the best deals in silver right now, they got to be 100-ounce bars. Hey, let's take a look at the 1,000-ounce silver bar. Let's see what they're getting. The premium thousands. See how much they're getting for thousands now. Ooh, I didn't really. How come I'm not search for thousands? 1,000-ounce. Oh, nope. Let's see here. Sorry about that, folks. I'm not a good searcher. 1,000-ounce silver ounces silver bar. 1,000-ounce silver bars. Let's see here. 24. Let's see if that pops up anything. 1,990-ounce silver bar. Let's see. I just can't see them. Hang on. Where do they have 1,000-ounce bars? Let's go down to the bottom of the page, see if I can find them. I just want to see what the price on thousands are, folks. I don't mean to hold you up here, but I'm kind of curious myself. And obviously, I am terrible at gray user relay metal content. My gosh. Obviously, I don't know how to find 1,000-ounce silver bars. Really? That should just pop right up. Okay. 1,000-ounce Comex, silver Comex. Let's see if that comes up with anything. Comex, no, nothing. Oh, 1,000-gram bar. That doesn't help me at all. All right, I'm going to stop looking right here, but maybe tomorrow's video I'll take a look and see where 1,000-ounce bars. A lot of you folks are much smarter. You probably already looked while I'm frantically searching here during the video. Oh, platinum gold. Let's just look at silver bars. There we go. Let's just see what's happening. Aha! All right, I guess I just didn't know how to search properly. Wow! Look at the premium on 1,000-ounce bars, folks. All right, hold on. That's 1,040, 1,000. Let's get something closer to 1,033. Let's see what that 1,033 is going for right now. Let's ask Siri here to do that math for me. 20,673 divided by 1,033 equals.
That would be approximately 20.0125.
All right, so $20 per ounce is what thousand. That's a heavy, stiff premium for 1,000-ounce bars, folks, on the retail side. That tells me that there's a big shortage of silver out there when you see 1,000-ounce bars premium start to go up like that. I mean, they were a year ago or longer about 85, 95 cents over. Now they're probably double that right now. So, yep, that's what we got going on. All right, listen, I just wanted to kind of do this video and let you know not to panic. Don't fear anything. You know, there's nothing to fear here, folks. You know how the game is rigged. You know how it's played. And if you got friends out there that are fearful of silver, explain to them why they shouldn't be and why, in fact, it should be just the opposite. They should be comfortable playing at the silver table because again, teach them how the game is rigged. They'll be much better players for it. Yesterday's video, Gone Fishing, super short. I'm actually should be fishing or doing something right now, but it's getting hot out there. I might go take a walk in a state park and do something fun. Meanwhile, folks, keep stacking. Don't relax. Try to buy at these lower prices. But I don't know what to tell you as far as silver goes. I mean, there are no great deals in silver. But if you call us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals and you live in South Florida, you can visit our store. We'll point you in the right direction. If you're still trying to buy silver or gold, and if you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 2,500 ounces of silver, call us at conciergebullion.com. I'm going to call it quits for now, folks, and take the rest of the day off and try to find something to do besides fishing. Maybe go walking, take a nice walk through one of Florida's many great state parks. Think for yourself. Always question authority, especially nowadays. And thanks for watching. This is Brian with Commercial Rare Coins and Concierge Bullion Services. Again, Concierge Bullion Services is for folks that are spending, buying more than 100 ounces of gold and or more than 2,500 ounces of silver. We can accommodate you on the phone as well with bank wires and all that cool stuff. We can be reached at this number. We can also be reached at conciergebullion.com. If you live in South Florida or you want to visit our brick and mortar store, we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. It's Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Call us anytime at 954-493-8811. Happy to help you out with whatever you need as well. And I think that's it, folks. I'm going to call it quits and go enjoy my vacation here. I'll probably do a video tomorrow. I can't help myself. But meanwhile, have a great evening. Don't fear anything and buy the dips. Bye now.